Armin was the kind of man you passed on the street and didn't look twice at. Medium build, short hair, always wearing the same faded gray shirt and work boots. He blended in like background noise in a busy world, a ghost in the city of noise. He worked at an old metal parts factory on the edge of town. His job, maintenance and cleaning on of the lowest paid positions. Every morning he arrived early, before the machines roared to life. He'd sweep the floors, refilled the coolant tanks, and quietly fix things others ignored. And every evening, after his shift ended, he'd sit alone in the break room with a worn-out engineering textbook propped open, studying diagrams on his cracked phone. No one ever asked what he was doing. They just assumed he was strange. Armand didn't mind let them assume. While his coworkers gossiped during lunch, he read. While they scrolled through social media, he watched free YouTube tutorials on machine systems. While they mocked the quiet kid, he was preparing. The truth was, Armin had dreams bigger than that factory, bigger than the rusted machines, bigger than that entire town. But dreams spoken too loudly had a way of attracting ridicule. So he kept them locked away, letting action replace noise. His quiet confidence wasn't arrogance, was belief that didn't need an audience. Back home, in a remote village, his younger brother Ayaz was in school, thanks to Armand's remittances. Their father had died young, and Armand had stepped into the role of caretaker when he was only 19. Now, at 27, he had no time for clubs, fashion, or status. His only priority was making sure Ayaz had the life Armin never did. Every Sunday night, Armin video called his brother. They talked about math, exams, and Ayaz's dreams of becoming an architect. Ayaz often asked when Armand would come visit. Armand would smile and say, soon, when the time is right. Still, things weren't easy. People walked over him, literally, and figuratively. The line supervisors dismissed his ideas. Coworkers borrowed money and never paid it back. One man laughed to his face and said, "You're too soft to get ahead in this place." Armand said nothing. He only nodded, then went back to work. But deep down, a storm was building, quiet, steady, and inevitable. It was a Thursday when it happened, the kind of humid, restless day that seemed to hang heavy in the air. The factory was buzzing, production, lines moving at full speed, when suddenly the main conveyor belt sputtered, then ground to a complete stop. A loud alarm echoed through the facility. Lights flashed red. The entire assembly line froze. Chaos broke out instantly. Workers gathered, confused. Supervisors shouted over one another. The technician on duty fumbled with the control panel, clearly overwhelmed. Orders were delayed, and the pressure mounted. Every minute of shutdown cost money. In the middle of all this, Armin quietly walked over to the control board. He observed the panel, then squatted beside the jammed conveyor belt. His hands traced the belt's edge, felt the torque gear, and checked the tension meter. His eyes scanned every joint, every bolt. "Hey, don't touch that," one manager barked. "Get maintenance?" But Armand didn't flinch. "I think I can fix it," he said calmly. The supervisor raised an eyebrow. "You? Since when do janitors fix systems?" "I've studied the schematics," Armand said. "The load sensors probably misaligned, and the torque override is lagging. I can get it running." For a moment, the room fell silent. The technician glanced at the manager, who reluctantly nodded. "You've got 30 minutes. Armin set to work. No drama, no speeches, just quiet focus. He bypassed the faulty sensor, recentered the motor alignment, and recalibrated the system input. Workers watched, stunned. A few whispered, "How does he even know this stuff?" 28 minutes later, the conveyor roared back to life. A stunned silence followed, then a scattered round of applause. One man clapped Armin on the back. "You're wasted in cleaning, man." The factory manager approached, still trying to process it. "Where did you learn this?" "I've been studying for over a year," Armand replied. In case there was ever a moment like this. That single sentence changed everything. By the end of the day, Armand was offered a new position, junior systems analyst. Better pay, better hours, and respect. Coworkers who once mocked him now nodded in quiet admiration. He had done it, and he had done it silently. That night, Armand walked home with his backpack slung over one shoulder. His steps were slow, not from exhaustion, but from reflection. The city lights shimmered in puddles, and the air had the kind of stillness that feels like a fresh start. In his rented room, Armand pulled out his phone. There was a voice message from Ayaz. Bye, I passed. Top 3 in my class. Can you believe? It Armand's throat tightened. He sat on the edge of the bed, the glow of the phone lighting up his tired face. A single tear rolled down his cheek. For a long moment, he didn't say anything. He just listened again to his brother's voice, eyes closed, hands steady. Then he hit record. I always believed in you, Ayaz. Keep going. Your dreams are bigger than mine ever were. I'll be there soon, I promise. He looked around his small room, peeling walls, a flickering bulb, and a makeshift shelf of engineering books stacked neatly beside his mattress. This wasn't success the way others defined it. There was no trophy, no podium, no thunderous applause. But in that quiet space, Armand felt something deeper. He had proven that strength isn't always loud, that power doesn't always shout, and that confidence, when rooted in purpose, can move. Mount Sivan, if no one is watching. The next morning, Armand reported for duty in his new role. He wore the same old shirt, now neatly pressed, the same boots, polished, the same quiet eyes, now met with respect. People started listening when he spoke, not because he forced them to, but because his actions spoke louder than any words ever. In a world that worshipped volume, Armand became a quiet revolution, and that made all the difference.